Hello, this is Carlos Wostria and welcome to Personal Flash Paper, an Infinity podcast. This is an introduction to the hobby of Infinity with a focus on beginner hobby tips, tactics, and tournament prep, with your hosts, Randy, Rob, and Ryan.
Hello, everybody. We are back. Sorry about the little hiatus. This is Personal Flash Paper. This is Ryan. That's your cue, Rob.
Oh, well, we are a little rusty. So welcome to Personal Flash Paper, an Infinity podcast with a focus on beginner tips and topics of the game of Infinity. And I haven't even finished this first beer yet. On this episode, Hobby Desk and the winner of the Hobby Streak, the rule of the episode, camouflage, and the main topic, playing games against better opponents as a new player. Or do you avoid them? Why would you? Why would you avoid them? Why would you play them? With your hosts, the Baker Kid,
And Ryan.
all right, so we are back after a little bit of a hiatus. As you may or may not know, Ryan and I work together, and we've been busy with some work things, which typically happens around this time of year.
Yep, Randy is currently not with us, although he literally just texted and he said he's on his way. So we will catch up with him when he jumps on.
Yep, that's right. But this train has left the station, so Randy's going to have to run a little bit faster to catch up with us.
Yeah, that's true. So as Rob was saying, as we've been absent for a little bit, we definitely apologize. That was not our intent. Real life got in the way. Scheduling issues got in the way. I had a computer go down on me, so I'm on a temporary computer. By I say temporary, I'm on my wife's computer.
Computer went down on you. This is a PG show.
It is definitely not a PG show.
No, it's not. If this is your first episode, then you may want to recheck the explicit tag.
Yep. So, Rob, what are you drinking on tonight's episode?
Tonight's episode is brought to you by Boulevard Tough Kitty, a stout
User
which is
joined your
very
channel.
yummy.
Hey, everybody. Randy just popped in.
Randy!
I made it.
Hey, Randy, we started recording because we didn't know where you were. So please say hi to our friendly favorite listeners.
Hello, friendly favorite listeners.
All three of you.
All
Or
three,
more.
and the two people in Germany.
Don't forget Danger Rose.
In
Oh.
Panama.
My fault. Danger Rose in Panama. That's four then, right?
Actually, we are loved overseas. In the local area, not so much. But overseas, we are loved and have probably been loved.
Perfect. That's much better.
I don't know. That sounded awful suspicious.
So what I miss?
We just said hello and talked about the basic intro and how we're a little bit rusty and why we've been absent. And Rob was just telling us what he was drinking for the episode.
Perfect. Excellent. Good. I didn't even see your text. I was just getting home and I was eating dinner and I was like, oh fuck, we're recording today. Totally forgot.
You know, we probably should have recorded last Tuesday.
Probably, Rob.
Yeah, it would have been much better. I wouldn't have been there.
Oh, good times.
Now that I've slowed us down, I've slowed the momentum down.
No, you just redirected it.
Perfect. Okay. Good. Excellent. All right. So what's the deal for the episode? What are we talking about? Because I didn't get an email, Rob. You're slacking.
No, you got the email. It's just buried in all the other text messages that are in that thread.
Oh. Okay. Well, like I said, you did not send me an email, then, Rob.
That's okay. Rob hosted a local league here. He ran it kind of like a escalation league, and we ran it using the Dire Foes missions, or at least 6 of the Dire Foes missions. When we ran it kind of an escalation league, there was an increase in points, kind of a random, and Rob set it up to where some experienced players played some newer players. And we actually just did the prize awarding last Wednesday, which went well. But why don't we talk about that a little bit? Because Randy, you played a game. I played in the league. Yeah, I played in the league, and Rob helped run the league. So, Rob, why don't you kick off your afterthoughts?
So the afterthoughts, as Ryan alluded to, I ran the Escalation League with the Dire Foes missions out of the Uprising book. And the reason that I did that is because so many people are ITS driven that a different flair of mission styles and more of a storyline aspect was something that was desired by the local player group. Shout out to Clayton Beast because he's actually the one that suggested it. And started out with a smaller point total and then just grew it from there. And like Ryan said, we just had the prize support giveaway. Huge shout out to Coney of Corvus Belly for his extra dollop of gravy on the prize support.
Yep, I thought it was. I thought the league was really good. And one thing that we did discuss is the Dire Foes missions are much more complex than the regular ITS, and there were several of them that we played with 200 points. And so, literally looking at it, we're like, nobody's going to be able to score points on this. But what we think it did is it really elevated the level of what people needed to do. So then when we go back and we're playing normal Dire States, it's almost like bringing it, or not Dire, normal ITS missions. It's almost like bringing it down a little. You know, so
Sorry,
it like brings
you did it.
Yeah, so it like brings it down to a little more easy to manage levels.
I was just impressed with the amount of swag that you got, dude. It was an impressive amount. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, no, it was a huge shot in the arm because there was t-shirts, there was pins and pads, and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was getting ready to play my game and be victorious in your fucking face, Clayton.
Yeah. What?
Kidding. They were handing all this stuff. I was like, wow, that's a lot of shit. I was like, I'm gonna ask you. I was like, where'd you get all that, man? And you're like, oh, this is from the store, and this is the part from CB. And I was like, holy moly, they did not skimp on the swag.
Nope, it was an extra layer of icing on that cake. That's for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Ryan, what were your overall thoughts? I mean, you talked about the points and points level and how no points would be scored because those Dire Foes missions are really geared towards a 300 point. But in your opinion, do you think that it was a good idea to run Dire Foes as opposed to ITS? I'd rather see more of an ITS driven aspect.
Oh, yes. No, I don't know.
That was not a yes or no question, Mopfire.
So at first I was like, I don't think it's a good idea. Right, because especially when the idea was we were going to have some newer players. But the way Rob set it up is he tried to match up. So he didn't do a Swiss style. He tried to match up experienced players with new players. So I think what it did is those missions put even the experienced players on a learning piece, right? So they didn't know the missions, they didn't know what was going on, they had to look, so they had to kind of check to what was going on too. So it gave them an element of the learning piece also, and then they were able to help the newer players go. But I think overall the tone was, hey, we're just going to play some games and we're going to help new people get on board. We're going to build this community, which we had how many, 12, something
12.
like that in there, which I think is really, really good. But you know, I think we need to mix it up. I think that actually helps keep people into it. So, you know, I think it was a good idea. As an after, you know, looking back on it, I think it was a good idea to do it because now people are playing other things they hadn't
it looked
just
like a
been
really
playing.
good idea.
Yeah, I think it was. So, I mean, I missed 2 weeks due to family, but it was fine because 1 week was my set against Rob and the other week was against Clayton, who was out anyways. So I did not do. So I didn't do as well as I could have.
Yeah, I think you got like what or something.
I may have been towards the bottom. Yeah.
I was very disappointed in your performance. I was very disappointed. I expected you to get first.
That's what she said.
I mean, I think it's possible that I got a higher placing than you did, Ryan.
I mean, I think I scored a point overall.
Okay, that's
I think you had like 4 points overall. Don't cheat yourself there, Ryan.
Okay.
Don't be humble in this.
I also switched armies, as I have said multiple times
here we go.
in earlier podcasts. This was the year of the Morats, and it's not been. It's been the year of Onyx, and I've forgotten a lot of rules that things had till after games. For instance, yeah, like V-Dogged. You know the Unidrones have V-Dogged, and I totally forgot that. V-Dogged. That's right. So, yeah. But I mean, I had a great time either way, so it didn't matter.
And really, that's the whole point of the Escalation League, is start out slow, have a good time, build the momentum, and then, because that's what she said.
I don't think that was a proper use of "that's what she said." By the way, I think you forced that one in there.
Yeah, he forced it.
God, is that a softball?
No, I mean, that's what she said.
There you go. See, that's how it works, Rob.
See,
Yeah.
that was. They just rolled right out.
just
That's what she
slid it
said.
on in there.
Wow. Yep, and we are in full swing, ladies and gentlemen. And some of you actually said you missed us. Now, I don't know if you meant all of us, but this is what you get when you ask for it. Just saying.
Oh my God.
Once again, that's what she said.
God. Oh, man.
I mean, there may have been a reason, since Rob and I worked together, that we had to code "that's what she said" to Tipsword. Thanks. Shout out to Big Scott Tipsword.
Big Scott.
Big Scott in the wood.
All right. I mean, I think the league was good. I think anytime you try to do something like that, especially if it's to get new players, matching them with experienced players, when you prefaced for the experienced players, hey, don't just kick your opponent's teeth in. Try something new, help them learn. I think that helps grow. So I think that was really successful in that perspective.
And we did have a brand new player that was at the end of the league kicking people's teeth in that were, quote unquote, more experienced. And I mean, he was running a tag and O'Rory in the backfield and just heavy flaming people left, right, and center. At least that's what I think he was doing.
Who was running a tag?
William.
Oh, yeah. William, that's right. I forgot about that. I don't think I played William, or I played him early.
Yeah, you played him. Yeah, you played him early before. He was like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna bring a tag and really f some people's faces up."
Yep. I will say that I brought a tag. I not brought a tag during that, but I've been playing with a tag since then, and the Zeodron, just because I love that model. So pretty.
Model's so sweet.
Yep. All right. So shall we move on to our next little sections?
By all means, proceed, good sir.
All right. So since the last time we talked, there have been quite the shakeups. There's a new ITS. We are in ITS Season 10. There are 2 new sectorials. Aleph gets OSS, and Ariadne gets TAC. And there's been another announcement of another sectorial. Now, bear in mind, it is not going away. It still exists. The models are going out of production, and that would be the Shock Army of Accasantamento. Now, that one surprised me, though. I'll tell you that.
Now, here's another surprise, and I think it was Greg Strom of Remote Presence who pointed this out on WGC, in that you have the TAC and you have the OSS, and because today is Tuesday, you can actually spell tacos.
I don't know what you just did, but you are not allowed to ever say another joke. As a matter of fact, we're going to hit you with the mute if you do it again. You're gonna
wait. You can't ban me, because you should see the dad jokes that Ryan pulls at work all the freaking time. There's actually a person in the office that has a list.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm experienced. I do good ones, Rob. That was not a good one.
Don't blame me, man. Blame Ray Strom.
You brought it to the table, buddy.
I did, because somebody else brought it up.
Yeah, he's got a point.
I mean, it's out there. Greg Strom can't pull that back at all.
All right. We will allow it, but you've been warned.
Oh, I've been warned. I'm on the list? What the hell?
All right, so let's talk a couple of things. So, new ITS. Randy, obviously you probably haven't looked at it.
Are you kidding me? I spent all morning looking at it.
So, any thoughts, any immediate concerns or questions, or what is the word I'm looking for?
I would like you to start at the beginning, please. You know what makes me angry? I only play a game, and then the ITS switches, and now I have to learn new stuff that I never learned the old stuff, so I have no idea what's going on.
So you're actually just status quo then?
It's basically I just kind of sit there and go, oh, okay, well, this is cool.
Yep. I mean, they did some cool things, I think. Switching up the classified deck.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it does make it in my opinion, a little harder to build lists because there are so many things. Like, okay, now biometric visors, MSV2 or MSV, and sensor now do something. So there's, what is it? Veteran, elite, and chain of command to do something. So I think that it really makes it a little harder to build a list because you have to include more pieces.
I think it just makes your choices that much more important for you to focus on how you are going to play your army.
Yeah, true, but I like to go up and just kill shit, and so this makes it more difficult.
Well, yeah, as an Onyx player, that's kind of your bag, man.
That is. Were we having this talk? Did we have this talk when we played the other day? That close combat is very difficult in this game.
It is, but I don't care if I get close combat. I just want to. I thirst for blood or sparks if it's a remote, and I just like to kill shit, and a lot of times that gets me in trouble.
Yes, I can understand that.
Why does it get you in trouble, Ryan? Explain for the listener.
Well, because I won't necessarily do the mission. I will just go kill a bunch of shit. Yeah, and then you throw in somebody in loss of lieutenant, a retreat, and then losing the mission because I didn't do what I needed to do.
Because you didn't flip switches.
Yep.
Because you're too busy hitting your bitches.
I mean, I have
a
tag
that.
I have a tag that has super jump and a red fury, so bouncing around killing shit is really, really fun.
Which of the new scenarios in the 10 are you guys most excited to play?
I don't really know. I have not really gone through and read them all to see what's really new. I'm excited about some of the rules changes. For instance, that tags still have the +1 damage ironclad rule. Yeah, the fatality level 1 for ironclad rule. The landing assistance I think is cool, so drop troops can land at the base size instead of the template,
which I think is huge. I honestly think that is a huge improvement because the pie plate does not always fit places where it would be tactically advantageous for a drop troop to land.
Yeah, I think
that is in my mind just an awesome evolution of the game.
Yeah, I think the cool part about it is it's not going to change. Like, you're not going to see a ton more AD combat drop troops because it's still the dice roll, right? But it gives them some more options and it makes them a little scarier if you do make that roll.
Oh yeah, because if you've got the with the HMG that can drop in, an HMG will F some people up.
But are you wanting to really drop that though? I mean, like, do you think that that's too big of a risk for that much of a point sink?
I would think with an HMG, I'd walk into the table, right? Because you're going to need longer ranges of fire. You're going to need those pieces. Now, if I was going to drop something, you drop in a boarding shotgun or something like that. That does some damage. That could do some serious work.
Right, because that HMG, once you hit outside of 16 inches, you need to be outside of 16 to get the pluses, and then your sweet spot is kind of that mid-range game, right? I mean, unless you're dropping it to kind of like have a
midfield,
like a fire lane in the middle of the field where you're on one side of the board and they're on the other, and you have like a really good lane. But
yeah, I mean, I still think Spitfire HMG, I'm probably going to walk in, but I'm probably going to try to drop in a specialist, next to a target, or a boarding shotgun. Hey everybody, My daughter just walked in. She wants to say hi.
Hello.
Hi, Riley.
That's my daughter, everybody.
And now we've got to keep it a family show.
No, she can't hear. I got headphones on.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And he's brilliant again. Okay, so what were we talking about?
All right. Sorry. So season 10 again. So bravery. So that's medium infantry get 4 deployment level 1, and if they already had it, they get 4 deployment level 2. I think it's cool. It makes me want to take Rodox and play Morats again, but I also don't think it's game breaking, right? It's 4 inches additional deployment for a 4-2 move. So,
and from my point of view, playing Ariadna, I mean, it brings a whole new spectrum for the Marauders, who already have level 1, and then Minutemen, who now get level 1. So you've got the Marauders with level 2 in this season, and Minutemen with level 1. So you can have essentially one fire team core at the midfield already, and that's huge.
Yeah, I mean it is, but I don't think it's game breaking, right? So because it's like again, it's
Oh
4
no, I
or
totally
8
agree. It's
inches,
not
so I think it's
game-breaking in
actually
any way, shape, or form.
yeah. I think it just gives you added deployment flexibility, so you can reach that extra little inch or two that gives you a better cover or better lane of fire.
And Ryan.
All right. So, yeah, we're back at recording.
Yeah, sorry, technical glitch there.
And/or Ryan has been drinking heavily since, work let out or something.
Since
During.
You did say that you were drinking vodka all day.
Suck it.
Yeah, my internet went down, so we will see. I'm also working on my daughter's computer, who's having problems.
In the city? Oh no! You mean to tell me that the 2 tin cans that you've been fucking working with for your internet just went out on you?
Wow. You able to talk to you like that, Ryan? What is going on?
As long as we're not in the same room, he can talk to me like that.
Okay. All right, I can dig it. I can dig it.
So, all right. So we were talking about season 10, ITS, the bravery for deployment, landing assistance, which is the airdrop troop thing. Then there's also long service, which is during
Veterans.
Yeah, any character has the troop classification veteran troop, which really helps.
Yeah. So does it give them level 1 or 2?
No, it's just veteran troop, so they don't get any of the skills. They just have the tag, so they can do the
Specific
classified.
classified missions. Yep.
So it means Kurnow can now run up and do some of those classified objectives that I need him to do.
I mean, that's definitely going to help.
Yeah, he may not know why to cut the blue wire, but he stayed at a Holiday Inn Express once, and that qualifies him all the way across.
No, they don't cut the blue wire. He just runs up and what's the one it's called? The net undermine. Just runs up and like whip roll. All right, I'm on your side of the table. Whip roll. That's still that one just makes me laugh. Just for those net undermine, veteran, elite, or chain of command troop. The objective of the troop has to be on the opponent's side of the table, completely on the opponent's side of the table, and just succeeded a whip roll. That's it. Just gotta go over there and go, aha! And it makes me kind of laugh because it doesn't have to be touching anything. Just has to step across the line and make a whip roll.
How is he making the whip roll? I'm just curious about that. How did that go again?
Aha!
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of cool things that Heloise has been doing with the ITS. I like that it changes each season, and it's not just new missions, it's something else has changed, but none of the changes really seem to be game breaking. The ironclad, so fatality level 1 on tags, I think is really, really cool. Mostly because I wanted to run Zeodron, so it is really, really cool. But the other little pieces, the bravery, so medium infantry get level 1, landing assistance, all those things I think just add an extra little tweak. So it doesn't matter how good you were previously, you're still going to have to figure out some new pieces.
And how to, bring those new pieces into your game plan. While you were experiencing some technical difficulties, Randy was really talking about things that he learned from his game against Clayton.
Yep. So why don't we talk about that, Randy? You don't get to play a lot of games, so let's talk about your last week. Well, that's not a slight on you.
Not a slam. You were saving meth babies last time we tried to record, man. So that's you were making true. Whip rolls, bitch.
Yeah. So why don't we talk a little bit about your last game?
Oh my gosh. So I proxied an entire army because I'm trying to figure out what I want to play next. And I don't feel like buying stuff to sell stuff, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows the vicious cycle. So I'm in vicious cycle mode of ooh, shiny, ooh, shiny, ooh, shiny. And the problem is I like a bunch of models in each faction and I don't like all of them. So it's an aesthetic thing. So I proxied Nomads and I did Bakunin. And I ran, which when I showed up, I was super proud of myself. I'm not going to let Zach know, but I was very proud of myself because I was like, I have a good list. Yes. And
I will say I was standing there for this conversation, and it was really funny.
and so I handed my list, and Zach shows up, and he's got nomads, and he's running Bakunin, and I was like, oh, someone else running Bakunin. I'm like, what do you think of this? I think I outsmarted everybody with this. And he looks at it, he goes, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro, but this is shit. And I'm like, and then like a couple minutes later, I looked at Rob. I was like, God, I wish I had just brought my fucking Steel Phalanx list. At least I know somewhat what I'm doing with it. But like, whatever. I'm gonna run this list, and like, so I was like, I'm gonna run it. I'm like, well, maybe nobody will want to play with me, like, because I'm kind of, I was just sitting there. I was just kind of bullshitting with people. And Zach, one of the guys that shows up, he's like, well, just watch what I do, and I really like this model. It's better for this. I'm like, okay, like I get Infinity to me, and Zach made a ton of good points, right? Like whenever you talk to people that play Infinity, they're gonna have a way. And Zach said it to himself. He said, "This is my way of playing it. So if you don't like it, then you're not gonna want to do it. And I don't like it, so I'm not gonna do it." And I was watching how he was doing stuff, and Zach's a good player, but he likes Riot Girls. They're all right. Like I like it. But I was running some weird shit. Like I was running 3 zeros. I ran Brand de Castro. I ran 2 Sin Eaters, which everybody was like, that's like such a waste of points. I did run a moderator fire team of 5, but I basically ran them as 5 cheerleaders. I think I threw a paramedic in there just in case. It wasn't bad. And then I ran a Reverend Custoder with
Custoder? Nice.
with the hacking device plus, and one of my zeros had a hacking device as well. So I was running hackers, and the thing I ran a hacker with a killer hacking or with the an assault hacking device. I ran at least I think that's what it was. I had a mine layer, and I think I had a deployable repeater in there for my zeros. And I had this plan in my mind of how the whole list was going to work, and I was basically going to put this deployable repeater down, and I was just going to start hacking people's shit. I was going to punish people for taking heavy infantry and for taking tags. I was going to punish people, and if you got cute with your hackers, I was going to punish you for that. The problem is I kept forgetting about my hackers because they were in camo markers, and there was a bunch of times where I forgot to activate them in ARO situations where I was like, oh, I'm going to wait for this. I'm going to wait for him. He's getting close. He's getting close. And then I just would forget. And then I misplaced my Sin Eaters. I put them together, which was a huge mistake. I didn't see there was a better spot. And if I would have took my time with it, I think I could have got a better angle where I could have gotten a good chunk of the board in a crossfire type of situation that if you wanted to kill a Sin Eater, you would have eaten 2 Sin Eaters. And my strategy with the list was basically have the Sin Eaters as a like you would in the military, where you have a suppressive fire base. And so on my turn, my zeros and Brand were going to run around and cause havoc. And if you wanted to come find them, the Sin Eaters were going to take you out, and you were going to just basically be taking fire from all over around yourself. But I didn't deploy properly. I still won the game at the end. But I was the one in retreat at the end. And I kind of caught Clayton a little off guard because at the end I was paying attention to my points. I don't think he was, and I knew I was close, so I started suiciding my guys out, and just letting them die. And he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm in retreat now, man." And he was like, "Oh shit." And then it was like like, damn it. And then so he took his turn, and he didn't have enough. I mean, we had inflicted serious casualties. So by the time he took his turn, he couldn't do enough to me, where I still had models set up in places that could ARO things that he necessarily didn't want to. And I had like a really good crit in one of those spots. Where you roll a dice and you're like, man, I'm really against it, but the dice save your stupidity. I had one of those moments. So it ended up working out, but I really tried it, and as we talked earlier today, when I took a break, I was looking at models. I'm having the hardest time picking my next faction because I'd like to choose something that's good and something that fits my aesthetic and something where I can get behind the fluff of it. And I'm having a very hard time doing all 3 of those things. So it's becoming a becoming a nightmare.
Well, why don't we take a few minutes and chat about that and chat about, what should Randy play?
Well, I've done this poll before, and everybody sends me the dumb shit.
No, I'm not saying we need a poll. I mean, I just say the three of us kind of hash out what you're looking for and what we think may fit. For example, you said in the earlier messages between the three of us that you were looking for, like elves in space with like flowing robes and things of that nature, right?
Right. So I hate elves. Like I hate elves.
Yeah.
Like I hate it. But I like the. It's either going to be one of two things, right? Either I'm going to play something that's slow tank, walk forward, and beat face, which would be I would just play military orders then. Like I'd literally just play a 10 order military order list and here's my best guys, F off, or I'll just stay with Steel Phalanx and finish a couple more models and it just becomes a character bomb. But like I like the look of like the Fide. I like the look of the assassin models. I really do. Like even some of the Yu Jing stuff. The problem with Yu Jing for me is I would think that would be the slick army, like look at how just, the robes and how slick they look, but they're not. Like it just I don't know, man. It just frustrates the shit out of me.
Yeah, so let's talk through some like how do you choose, what goes into choosing a faction, right? So for what is it? Is it more of the look of the models? Is it more of the play style? Is it more of the background? How do people, especially if you're new and starting out, like what's something to think about there on those lines?
Well, so the first thing I'm going to look at is model, right? And my problem is I can't paint, so this is going to be a commission for me to send out. I'm going to end up commissioning this out. And the problem is, the real issue is when you look at pictures in a store, certain colors pop, right? There are certain colors that people look at and go, love that color. And so you look at the army, but then you look at what the model stat line does and you go, God, that's absolute shit. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that. That's just so dumb. But God, that model looks sexy because it's a good pose and it's a good color that matches it, right? Like I have a hard time looking at Hak Islam. I hate this green and yellow shit. Like I hate it. Like this whole desert thing, hate it. I hate it. And I get why they do it. I just hate it when I look at it in the store. And I know there's people that are gonna be like, I love it.
What's kind of funny is there are some models, like for instance the IR in Hak Islam, that I just love that model. There's a couple models in there I love, but that's a faction that I literally am like, yeah, that's on the bottom of my list, and I don't know if it's what it is, but it's something like, okay. Now I have a bunch of them, but yeah, it's the same way. I'm just like, I don't. Well, random traits and stuff, but
trust me, I know.
There are some models in there that I'm like are really cool, but I have a hard time sitting down and building lists. But I also think some of that is, like I said earlier, I like to go out and kill shit, and Hak Islam is very finessey. They've got high whip. They really are more tricksy, and I really like the military order style of going up and like, here's my big heavy armor dude, and that
I'm gonna
works
punch you in the face and kick your teeth in.
That works more that works with Onyx, and so I think that appeals to me more. So I think I kind of shift away from some of the trixier pieces and do some more bash your teeth in pieces.
No, I completely can see that, and that's how I feel about Steel Phalanx, right? I'm gonna take a bunch of cheap models and I'm gonna shove Achilles down your throat, and you're gonna take it. You're gonna take this fire team. You're gonna take it, and there's either you're gonna kill my 2 or 3 models that are gonna wreck everything you have, or or like I'm gonna lose. So you either do this or I get you, and it's basically a choice, right? Like you're basically saying, here's my Wang, deal with it. However,
that's what she said.
That's what she said. It gets. I don't know. I haven't played it in a while, and I like the trixier stuff. Like I like this whole the thing about Infinity is I like being able to throw out some camo tokens, and I like playing with the mine layers and going, oh, look at that. Yep, there's a mine. Do you really want to come this way with your models? Infinity to me, at least is a game where I can use all the years of military tactics. You can kind of start using some of them. And I know it's a dice game, and I know that somebody's going to roll their eyes and be like, whatever. But literally, you're looking at fire lanes. You're looking at a an assault element. You want a base of fire element. You want those things, and you get rewarded for, aggression of action. So if
Well,
you
you also get rewarded for your tactical planning in the choosing your army and troop choices.
exactly, and like I'm looking at the store right now, and I'm looking at the Hassan AR, and that's a hot model. I mean, it's just, the dude, with the whole with the pistol. I'm kind of like, yeah, that's not. I mean, it's nice. And what was the model you showed me today that Chris said that I should look at?
Tariq.
Yes, I was like, there we go. The problem is that that's not part of the assassin list. It's vanilla.
It's a
Hawk.
beat fist, yeah.
So it's hard to do those things. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Well,
hard.
But I mean, you can do vanilla. I mean, you don't have to play. A lot of times sectorials, link teams can be a crutch. You could do vanilla, which would give you both, Tariq and the AR if you would like it. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I bought that model before I had any other Hawk stuff. Was the IR because I was like, that's just a cool model.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool model. I mean, it really is, and that stuff is in vanilla. I mean, in reality, you're to me, and I use link teams, and I think everybody uses their stuff differently. Link teams to me are either it's a bunch of cheerleaders or it's a base of fire element with a bunch of cheap SWC weapons in it that if you screw up, you're going to take a lot of fire from one group of people. So,
yeah, I think that's something in everything, right? If you screw up, you're gonna end up paying it. That is the one thing about Infinity, that your mistake, depending on how big it is, could essentially cost you the game in lots of circumstances. Not always, but a big mistake really puts you on the back foot.
Yeah. So this is the problem I'm having, which is looking at certain things and then trying to figure out what I want to do.
Certain things model aesthetic wise, or certain things troop choice wise.
So it kind of goes like in 3 layers for me, right? Like first layer, models. Like I want because this is squad based, I want really good looking models. What the hell is this? Okay, that's a good looking model. I want the model to look good. Then if I see a good looking model, I want to know what it does. Does it fit what I want to do? And then can I build stuff around it? That's where I'm at. I mean, I've done the whole narrative Infinity thing, and it's just not played enough where people don't show up with, here we go. And so if I'm going to play, I'm going to play. Not necessarily like I have to be like this uber competitive version of it, but I want at least
You want to at least have a
something.
chance. Yeah, have a chance. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it gets a little difficult. What I'm looking at right now, which is amazing, is a Murabid. I do like that. The Toreg hacker.
Oh,
That's like a model.
so you're
So,
looking
yeah.
at Hawk.
I've been looking at. I mean, I've literally looked at every single army all day. Like I looked at Pano, and I really, I mean, like when they put out the military order, when they're putting out that 300-point box set, that's coming out, I was like, oh man, I love the way the knights look, but I like blue. Like I like the color blue. So when I look at them, I'm like, that white and that blue, it just looks really good. You know what I mean? But then I go to look at the models, and I'm like, oh, that Friar that's a fucking great model. It's 4-2 movement. Yes, it has, it infiltrates the extra 4 inches. So I'm like, man, I'm going to spend all game trying to move these guys up a board.
I will tell you, though, in my Pano, the Blackfriar has become an auto-include. The Blackfriar with Albedo, MSV2, and the multi-rifle. I used him a lot. I really liked him.
No, I was looking at him. I was like, yep. I mean, basically, when I was looking at the list for Pano when I was building today, I was basically building. I mean, you're obviously doing it no matter what, but I was pretty much building the religious build. So I was, doing the Black Friar with the albedo, the biometric visor, and I was like, that's fucking handy for any shenanigans of Steel Phalanx and Hawk. That's cute that you're doing the impersonation thing. No, you're not. Which is just amazing. And
no more Bob from accounting. We don't have an accounting department.
Exactly. And I would even run Joan. So, I mean, I don't know how you don't run Joan.
I don't. And I I just never have. She's never appealed to me. I don't know what it is. I mean, they make 48 versions of the model, so I don't know. One of them has to be great, but
Well,
yeah, I
Matt
just
Loftus,
have never.
before he
never-
left, before he left the Kansas City area, he was running Joan all the time. It was almost an auto occlude, and he was wrecking face with her.
Yeah,
I mean, you can, but I just never saw as big a value in what I wanted to do with her. Maybe.
and I can totally see that. To me, though, like when I was putting together this list, I was pretty much at, 300 points in 10 orders, and it's all straight up. Here we go with, crazy lists, which is great. I mean, heck, you even have, everybody has. There's a bunch of hyperdynamics going on, and it's just a bunch of good stuff. It's just I've been playing Steel Phalanx, and I just did Nomads. I'm like, ooh, look at this movement, 4-4, 6-2. Like you're running all over the place, and then to go back down to 4-2, I'm like, ugh.
See,
But
now I have found so I've thought of that multiple times, right? But I find most of the time I'm moving and then shooting or moving and doing something else. I don't do moves very often. So I
Sure.
think that's why the 4-2 never really bothered me.
I mean, I came close to pulling the trigger on the whole Pano thing. I do like it. I aesthetically, and I'm not a religious guy. I mean politically, everything, right? But when I played War Machine, I played Menoth because I like the aesthetic. It's the other thing I like clean. Like I don't know if that makes any sense, but I like clean models where everything just looks sleek and not clunky. I hate clunky.
No, I get that.
Clunky as in blocky.
Yeah, I mean, the knights and stuff don't look blocky to me. They have like a dynamic to them. Like for when I play 40k, I play Harlequins. When I played Fantasy, I played Slanesh Demons. I was always playing fast,
Graceful.
in your face type of armies. I like that. The problem with Infinity is, and I know there's gonna be a bunch of people that are gonna disagree again with this, but you can be kind of in your face in this game. But I like the whole let's roll close combat face to face. Let's do that. That's not really this game. Like getting into close combat is almost a headache. It's so difficult to do that
Yeah,
you
you've got to
almost
have a
don't want
plan to get into close combat.
Right. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I don't, you know what I mean? So it's definitely Pano is definitely going to be the whole the faction of here we go. Like the Crusader Brethren, they have, their medium infantry. There's going to be a lot of medium infantry in Pano that's going to be running right in your face.
Yeah. All right. So what advice would we give to new people or people looking to switch? What advice would we get? Like if you're going to look at a faction, look at a sectorial, what do you think the number one rule should be?
Aside from the rule of cool.
Okay, so take the rule of cool out. I would say, what's your play style? What are you trying to accomplish? Because
Yeah, what do you want to do with this army?
in a tournament, you're going to take your list, and your list is you're going to change your list depending on the missions that the tournament runs. So what do you like?
Yeah, I would say even, like what about the game attracts you? Are you attracted to the hacking piece, right? Because that will lead you to probably nomads or so. Are you attracted to the high model count? Because that's probably going to be, Hawk-Islam or Ariadna. I like the big stompy robots or big guys in armor. I think that would be kind of what I would look at, because I think you could play most factions. I want to go out and just kill stuff. I think you could do that with most factions. I want to go out and flip a bunch of switches, right? So I think you have to be a little more focused than just even that.
Especially with Season 10 that just dropped, because it did change the focus of how the classified missions are completed.
Yeah, so I think the one, obviously the rule of cool is best. If you really like a model, and especially if you're a painter or someone who wants to get into it, buy the models that are going to make you want to do stuff with those. Other than that, I think what I would look at is, the aesthetic of the overall pieces, right? Like Randy, you said, I like bits and pieces of all of them, but not one whole faction. I think if you don't get models you're attracted to, you're not going to play no matter how cool it is or what your objective is or how well this faction completes what you want to do.
And with that, Randy, have you looked at any of the non-aligned armies, the NA2?
I hate that. I hate non-aligned. I don't. So it's my gripe with where like Age of Sigmar and 40K go, where people bring, I'm playing this and I have an attachment of this and this and this. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, but I don't think they function that way, because I think the non-aligned army is kind of a hodgepodge, but I think they have some massive weaknesses and some massive holes, whereas I think the real gripe is, adding the mercenaries to all your faction. I forget what that objective or what that little add-on in ITS is called, but when you can have special ops people come in and like
Spec Ops?
No, not Spec Ops. The one where
Soldier of Fortune.
Soldier of Fortune. Thank you. You can add that. I think that really adds the piece that Randy that really is a gripe for you, and I agree with it in a lot. I'm like, okay, I really like this, and it's, you have a really shooting faction, and I don't have any smoke. Well, I can take smoke now because I can have access to all of these guys, and that really, I think, swings it.
Well, it's just the whole. What's your weakness? Okay, I'm going to pull this one model to cover the weakness, because I think every faction has a weakness. I think they do. There is a little paper rock scissors in this game, like a small amount, where if you but most of it has to do with list building. So what am I trying to do? And if you're going to an ITS event, you're going to have certain things where you have to push buttons, or you're going to have to hack something. So you have to bring certain things to make it work. So I don't know, and that's the other thing I've been doing, which is I've been looking at some of the specialists, because the specialists, I can find cool models in every faction. It's the specialists that I look at and I'm like, God dang it, why is it gotta be ugly? I know it's a hacker, but does it have to be an ugly hacker?
An ugly hacker. Oh, that's just never what you want.
Ugly.
A face that only a mother could love.
Basically. And I don't know, I'm trying to find a model that I can't stand. Tags. I pretty much hate tags in this game.
There are a lot of the bigger tags that I don't like. I don't like most of Pano's tags. I like all of the newer tags from Combined Army, the Zeotrons, Overdrons, and the Avatar. I like the thoughts behind and the idea behind a lot of the tags. I don't think they function as well as I would like them to in the game.
Right. I can see that.
But all right, so let's pull back a little bit. So the next thing, looking at picking a faction or sectorial, there's the rule of cool, picking models that motivate you, picking factions that will inspire you, or even kind of fit your play style. How do you figure that out without actually playing a bunch of stuff? If you're new, you have no idea. So what's step one there then?
So step one to me would be two things, which is, one, I would find out in your gaming community if anybody plays the faction you're interested in, right? And I would have somebody run me through a test game with the models that they have, maybe like what they have, so that they can sit next to me and help me out with what things do, so that I don't miss key things that I might think are awesome. And if you don't want to do that, you really want to just make your own list, I literally would proxy the entire army, take a piece of notebook paper or a index card, write what every model is, even if you didn't have the models themselves, and put them on bases, and literally run that at people and go, this is what it is. If there's a little thing, we can go slow if you want, and practice and do things that you think is cool, even if you're going to lose the game, but try to make that interaction work in the game state. Because it sucks to take a model that you never know what it does because you were so worried about winning the game that you didn't try that feature out.
Yeah, and Randy, you proxied almost all of your forces in the game that you played, right?
I did. I basically proxied the entire list, and so I took, oddly enough, I took my War Machine stuff, and I told him, I made sure that the models were easy to identify, and then we talked about what each thing was, and I didn't get too cute with, this one has this, and this one, if it was, because all the models basically looked alike. So I was like, they all have this weapon, and so it was very easy to keep it, together. And yeah, it was simple. I mean, we weren't playing an ITS thing. It was a fun Wednesday night of gaming.
Yeah, and I would imagine that most of your communities, or I would hope most of our communities out there, would allow people to like proxy stuff. Now, if you've been playing for 6 months, you're playing the same army, and they're all still proxies, then I could see some people giving you a little pushback on that. But I think if you're really kind of trying to figure out what works for you, make sure the base size is right. If it's, make sure the models are similar. If it's the same type of unit, if you're taking Fusiliers, make sure they all have the same basic aesthetic so it's easy to tell, and make sure that you openly communicate and continuously communicate with your opponent what stuff is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think there's a harm or a foul in, I'm going to proxy this army out. Okay, I didn't like it. I'm going to try this out now. And okay, I do like this model in this faction. I'm going to buy these couple. I'm going to proxy. Now I'm going to start proxying other things to see how they synergize with it. I don't think people would have a problem with that. I agree with you, though. If, I've played you for 3 months and you keep showing up with bases and no models, and you're like, oh, I'm proxying this force now, and you're kicking my teeth in, okay, we're done playing. Like, go buy some models now. Spend some money.
Yeah, I mean, we all, this is a game that's made by a company who needs to make money so they can continue to make the game and models, right? So I think at some point as a community, we do kind of have to police our own. It's the same with recasters, right? We kind of have to police that ourselves too, because the companies that make the game we love playing would not be here if nobody bought their models.
And I was going to piggyback on that with, supporting your local game store, because not everybody plays in a basement. And if you are playing in a game store, you should support that local game store. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah. All right. I think we've covered that. So since we're talking about what armies to pick, why don't we touch on the 2 new sectorials and then the quote unquote loss of the Shock Army. Granted, it's still there, but they're not going to make the models anymore, which I found
it just came out with a bunch.
Yeah, because the Bagmari and the starter box are relatively new and are pretty sweet models. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that they have the metrics on what's selling, and so maybe that force just isn't selling real well. They do have some outdated models that need to be updated there. The Merovingian force was the first to kind of take this. But if you look at Ariadna, if you take vanilla and include the new tack, then it gives you, there's 5 options within that. Yep. Pano's about to get another sectorial, which will give it, 4 sectorials and vanilla. So there's, 4 sectorials and vanilla. So there's 5 there. So I do think it kind of makes sense. It keeps down on the bloat too, because the armies are still valid. They're not removing the rules. They're just cutting down the SKUs and the stock they have to carry,
which really helps out the local game stores and the shelf space that they have to carry a game with.
Yep. So have either of you taken a look at TAC?
Like the army itself?
Yeah.
I took a look at it briefly.
Yep. So for those of you who are listening to us but have not listened to any other podcast, that's the Russians for Ariadna. I have not done a lot of looking through there. I do know you could take a whole lot of space werewolves.
Oh, yeah.
Dog warriors.
Oh, so there's dog warriors. Colonel Veronin actually comes with a dog. There's the dog warriors. There's, what's the name of the chick that has one? The scouts? No, not scouts. What is the name of the
Stirlock?
Yeah. Is that her?
Are you talking about Carmen Johns, the biker?
No, the Stirlocks is the new one. That's the ambush camouflage for deployment. Comes with a K9 and a pod.
Trench hammer.
There's dog warriors. There's Carmen Jones, which I actually really like the idea of Carmen Jones, to be honest with you. I don't know why, but that one really makes me laugh.
Well, that concept art was just amazing, in my opinion. You've got a biker chick and a dog that runs alongside the bike.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. So, I mean, you could really just max out on AVA and dog warriors and canines and all of that stuff there. I don't think it would be a great army. I think you would have a whole lot of holes. You would have to play just kill missions because it's not going to be great at doing anything else.
I mean, it's a typical Ariadne army to me. I mean, it's got its little teeth, and it's got a bunch of cheap shit that's gonna kill your doctors are gonna kill its own stuff, and I don't know, Kazakh light cavalry. That's interesting. I mean, some of it's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Again, I haven't done a whole lot of looking at it, but I think it's the idea is pretty cool.
Yeah, I do think it's a cool idea. I think playing the Russians, so basically you have the French, the Americans, and the Russians now, and then of course the Scots killed.
Yeah, because the Brits, which plays along with the whole modern day time frame that we're in now, pooling the resources, sending the probe through to Dawn. I like how they've incorporated modern, what we know as today, in with a future aspect. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and the models aren't that bad. The models look pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they're as we stated before. I mean, they're a little too modern looking for me on a lot of the stuff, so it's not the aesthetic that I'd really go for. Although there's some cool stuff. Now, granted, the Space Werewolves are not modern, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm looking at the models now. The veteran Kazakh is Kazakh is it's nice. It's nice. I'm with you. It's not. It doesn't blow my socks off. It's nice. It's like, okay. Yes. I do like the doctor. I do like the Kazakh doctor. Like, I like how he's, if you're really a painter, how he's got his brief, his thing opened, and there's more stuff to paint there, and they kind of did the little winter thing with him, and I mean, it looks good.
Yep, and I've made a conversion out of that guy with a bit that Ryan gave me, a Top Hat Wild West Exodus, I think maybe it was.
Nope, it was a Malifaux bit.
Oh, it was a Malifaux? So yeah, I've got that guy, and he is painted. Well, he's primed. He isn't on my paint desk as of yet, but oh well.
I mean, the veteran Kazakhs look. I mean, they're a lot of points, and they're finally getting up to where you're like, wow, 17 CC, BS 13, physical 12, whip of 14, but the armor is pretty impressive for Ariadne. This looks like a blackjack to me, just with more options.
Which one was that?
The veteran Kazakhs. I mean, I'm talking about like just by stat line and.
Yeah, no, it's they're armored out the wazoo, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, armor 4, which is great.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I mean, you pay for it. Look, they're 30 to 40, 30 to almost 50 points in some cases too. So, I mean, veteran level 2, 6 cents, no wounding cap. Jeez, yeah. That's really good. Mimetism, shock immunity. I mean, you could take a fire team core of them, but I mean, you're going heavy on that list.
It's half your army, but I mean, but running this, is the same thing as running Pano and running a bunch of knights.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same shit. Right. I mean, you're running. I mean, if you're gonna do it. But
and in some cases, it looks like it actually would be a little bit better because the mimetism, shock immunity.
Yeah. No wounding cap.
No wounding cap, so it makes them almost like 2 wounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have a boarding shotgun when you get close if you want the low point version of it. The AP rifle's not bad. I mean, AP anything isn't.
Come on, AP HMG T2 rifle.
Yeah.
That's dead sexy right there.
Yeah, Mark 12. I mean, those are all good.
Okay, I'm gonna run this force just see how it works.
And I'm laughing because I've got the app on my phone up, and the special skills and everything is in English, but then when it comes to the fire team options, it's all in Spanish.
That's nice.
Kazakhs y hasta tu fanwax.
I didn't realize that the dog warriors were only 27 points.
Yeah, but I mean, the 2 chain rifles, grenades, smoke grenades, AP close combat weapons, so you have to get them up there.
I mean,
and they're regular and impetuous, extremely impetuous.
Extremely impetuous.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want them to get shot once because then they turn into the dog form.
Yeah.
Yep.
So shoot at it, and then they become a 6/4 move with super jump.
It helps having
Yeah.
total immunity too, right? So people with explosive aren't going to get 3 wounds on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's gonna take a wound, then it turns into dog warrior form, and then it's got 2 more wounds. So I mean,
Yeah, and it becomes 6/4 move with super jump. So they are, dual chain rifle and jumped up physical 16. So smoke grenades or regular grenades even are going to be nasty with those guys.
I mean the other thing with the dog warriors, I mean, what are you using them for though? Just I would say you're just hunting. You're hunting specialists, right?
So you use a smoke. Well, so what I would do is I would probably use a smoke grenades to block everybody else's advance, and then I'm going to get them close enough to where I can either drop 2 chain rifles on multiple models at a time, hopefully catching some, camo tokens or something in there, or I'm going to hopefully get him into dog warrior form, get him on one side of a building, and then speculative fire some grenades over a building. Because, I mean, he would be hitting on probably 13s at that point.
13s, yep.
Not bad. That's not bad. Not bad little force.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at Alepht's new operational OSS, which really should be operations subsection of the SSS, so it really should be OSSS, but they just go by OSS. Yeah. And I really have not looked at this. Like, I haven't even flipped it open. I don't even know what's new here in here.
Oh, they've got a lot of good toys. They've got Father Lucian. They've got CSUs. They've got Dart. They've got all the proxy posthumans.
I mean,
Maroots, baby.
they do have Maroots.
So what makes it stand out from the other sectorials or even vanilla then?
So the other sectorial Steel Phalanx, you can't have Maroots, you can't have Sophatex, Zach Daly's favorite. Asuras, you can't have Andromeda. There's a lot more options here from just looking at it than the Steel Phalanx. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that's right.
She's in it.
Yep, she's Greek. But
She's
yeah,
the
a
Greek.
lot more.
She's the Greek in this.
True. But more bots, more tac bots, Dakinis, more Garudas than Steel Phalanx has. That's for sure.
Plus, you're running all the posthumans in this thing if you really want to. I mean, just it's not. This seems like it has more tools in it. Like if you're gonna run Aleph, like you might as well. Why would you run vanilla when you can run this?
That's a good question, Randy. That really is. I'm not seeing any of the Ecdromi, which typically you don't see in Steel Phalanx. I could be wrong about that.
Well, there's also there's no Myrmidons in here if you really like one or two of those.
Yeah, there's no Achilles, there's no Hector, there's none of the Greeks. So you see those Greeks in the vanilla, and you'd see those in the Steel Phalanx. But
this one seems like some more tools to me.
It doesn't seem like it has as many named characters either.
No.
It's a bunch. Dart.
Well, but I mean, compared to Steel Phalanx, I mean, there's Dart.
Yeah.
Steel Phalanx is all. I mean, that is named character land. I mean, that's the most named character out of anybody, right?
Oh, probably. I mean, it looks like there's 3 in here.
Yeah,
Father Lucian,
Andromeda, and Dart.
Yadu officer.
But Yadu's not his first name.
No, but the officer, and it's got that name there. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to pronounce that. Shikitai.
And to be fair, I mean, they do have the Diva functionaries as your core in this, so let's see. We got multispectral visor level 2.
I do like the gun bots. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean,
and those are sweet models.
I mean, because they're multi-rifle. There's a K1 marksman rifle. There's a Red Fury. All of them have the Mind Dispenser, which is a new tool.
Yeah, and you have one of them joins a Yadu troop.
Yep.
So I mean, I guess you'd have to because it's a repeater. I mean, it is still a repeater, but it is just I guess 12. It's not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, that Yadu could be. I mean, it could be a thing.
Yeah, the gunbots are a little expensive. I mean, they're not really for what they do because they are Arm 4, BTS 6, and 2 wounds, but they do seem a little expensive when you're looking at a remote.
I mean, throw them up against a wall and good luck.
Oh yeah, I think they would probably be really pretty deadly. Then you could take 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, would you though? Would that make points?
Only if that was my goal. Like only if I was like, I'm just gonna take a bunch of remotes and take no quote unquote human-esque things. I want to take a bunch of just robots. I would probably try to
disposable robots. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that Red Fury is nice for. I mean, just locking things down.
Yeah, the one SWC is hard,
Mm-hmm.
but I do like the Red Fury for the range band. I think the K1 Marksman rifle would probably be really good because you could go after some heavy infantry with it.
True.
Yeah. No, you could. I mean, yeah, because once you ignore the armor of it, you're just gonna rocking and rolling.
Yep, I'd agree. Yeah,
good.
I mean, I think they added enough variety that they don't seem like everything else is out there for the factions. They don't seem to be overpowered, so I don't think everybody's going to just flock to them.
I don't know. I think that this has the potential to be it, but the only faction I really know is Aleph and Steel Phalanx. I mean, you start running these post-humans around, you start throwing these all over the place, and you throw that new dart chick out. I mean, this could get ugly fast for people. Because usually you run Steel Phalanxes, here's my 9-10 models, get ready. You could actually spam the crap out of these. They have enough cheap models.
What are you looking at in terms of cheap, Randy? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, in the post humans, they're all AVA 1, so it's not like you're gonna have an ass ton of them running around.
Right, but I'm just saying, like you can. There's 4 versions of it, or 5 versions of it. Excuse me. The Apsaras. I mean, they're 19 points for a boarding shotgun and a killing hacking device. Your Arjuna units, they're AV2 mimetisms. They're going to be special operatives. They move at 6, and they're medium infantry, so they're deploying in that 16-inch range with a boarding shotgun and D charges. Or you can give one of them a Spitfire at 32 points, but they're 25. I mean, you're definitely going to have 2 order pools for these. I'm just saying, this isn't like, when you look at Steel Phalanx, you're like, I have to run Achilles. Oh, I might as well run this, and here's this. This isn't that. I mean, all the post-humans are 10, 20, 15. I mean,
yeah, but I think you're gonna run out of points.
You will
faster than you think, and probably even SWC for trying to get your sure. Toolbox full, right? So because you're gonna need some range. So if you take the proxies, I mean, it's gonna only leave you like 2 really range options.
Yeah, and then you have to factor in specialists.
I mean, your post-humans. I mean, like, okay, so
I think you're gonna have plenty of specialist choices, and a lot of them are high whips. Whip 13, whip 15, Proxy Mark 3, whip 15.
I mean, there are Arjunas. The Arjunas are specialist operatives, so they're going to be doing their thing. They're Arm 3, BTS 3, 25 points.
And whip 14.
Whip 14. I mean, that's 50 points, and that's not costing you any SWC, and you're running around with a boarding shotgun.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what people pull out of here. I mean, the upside, if you're playing against them versus Steel Phalanx, is you don't have a bunch of ODD running around.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, that's the thing with Steel Phalanx, right? Like, if you didn't bring your multispectral visors, you're kind of in a little bit of trouble.
That is true.
All right then.
All right, so I think we kind of just gave a brief overview. With nothing of probably any value to anyone besides us having this conversation, but so I think that's pretty good. So why don't we take a quick break, start a new session recording just in case something else goes wrong, and then we'll come back. Hey everybody, we called an audible. So the intro that Rob said in that says we're going to talk about camo, we are not going to talk about camo for the rule episode.
Yeah, that intro is just kind of trash at this point in time. So if you've made it this far with us, thank you. But yeah, we're calling it audible.
All right, so this morning I posted on the Personal Flash Paper and Infinity Podcast Facebook page that we're recording. And so if you have questions, to ask them below. And we got some questions. As per normal for our audience, some of them are serious, most of them are not. But let's just go. So Andrew Har want to know, where did baby Toha come from?
The garden.
Okay, you know what? We're going to give Andrew a grown-up answer. Okay,
Oh,
Andrew.
shit.
So what happens is when a mama
Wait. Andrew, take a seat.
Yeah, okay, yes. Take a seat, lean back, and breathe out. So what happens is when a mama Toha and a daddy Toha love themselves very much, and they want to show each other how
Wait,
much they love each
themselves very much?
Well, yeah, because they're Toha, they do things weird. What they do is they have a sexy party time over vegetables, okay? And if
Sexy
they
party
have-
time over vegetables. Okay.
Yes, and if they have sexy party time over the proper vegetables, namely artichokes, then they get a baby Toha.
Yep.
And
I will.
Sometimes when there's a Toha et trois, you get multiple artichokes.
I will say on a serious note, they do, serious note as it could be, they do have in the fluff that there are always three, and so if a couple does have a baby, somebody of their triad gets pushed out because the baby takes over the third spot.
See?
Yep. All right, so next question is, Scott Tipsworth said, what's the average airspeed of an unladen swallow? Now, Scott, if you don't mind, I will take this one. That is not the correct question. The actual correct question is, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Not just the airspeed. And to answer the question, a European unladen swallow is about 24 miles per hour.
So,
That's,
but you
that,
have to,
that's
you
right,
have
I
to finish,
know all that stuff.
You have to finish reading it out of the Google. But the real question is not about
No,
swallows at all.
I do not have the Google.
King
I
Arthur.
actually have Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the book, literally sitting in front of me. It's the screenplay. It's got all of the script. It's got all of the notes. It's the lines, the parts of the script that were cut out.
I love it.
This part was actually added in. It's written in like
Handwriting
right next to it, to what was supposed to be there, because the bridge keeper's actual question that sparked all that off is, what goes black, white, black, white, black, white? And the Gawain says, Babylon, and then he gets thrown off the bridge. So there you go.
Okay then. And there you
Wow.
go. All right. So what's the next question?
All right, so Scott Wiesel says, Pan-Oceania, Evil Empire, or Misguided Dopes of A-Lift? And
Misguided dopes.
Man, I don't know.
Misguided dopes. Dope on a rope.
All right, there's Rob's answer.
And there you go. And what's your answer there?
I think that they are a mix of the two. And yes, I do play them, but I also play the Military Orders, which is definitely controlled by force.
So Evil Empire?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
All right, so Nathan Hunt is, as a new player wanting to start the game, what's good or must have from the combined side of things? All right.
Okay, before we answer this, hold on a second. 2 people from the Kansas City area poked their nose in this question. Michael, you put you're not the PFP guys. You're not. So I don't know why you're answering questions directed at these 3 guys, but I still love you. Just kidding. Sort of.
All right, so I do play combined, and I think really when you're looking at it, if I were to start off, I would grab the Sectorial box set that I like the most, or if you can find the Onyx 300 point, because it has stuff that you're going to use in Onyx, you could use in vanilla. It's got some models for Morats. The drone box sets are awesome. Combined, I think, has some of the best drones in the game. They definitely have the best total reaction bot in the game. So I really think that that's where I would start if I were to do it. Again, so, Dr. Worm and the Nurse Worms, which are our Doctor Engineer combo, and then the slave drones for it is really useful too, although I don't think he's an auto include. I think you're almost going to always take a drone of some type. And that actually goes for a lot of the sectorials. I mean, I think Bart, buy the starter box and then just one other box that you think is cool.
Yes.
Support weapons box.
What I would say to you, whoever asked that question, hold on a second, Nathaniel. What I would say is, when a mama Toha and a daddy Toha love each other very much.
just go back 5 minutes and finish the rest of that story.
That's my answer again.
All right, so Casey wants to know, is there any advice you would give to your younger, age or just time with Infinity self? Randy, how about you?
Yeah, I would give myself a lot of advice. The first would be not to get involved with Ryan and Rob.
Too late,
you know that is the only advice you would give yourself to do.
That's true. I would. I would say to my younger self, play Steel Phalanx harder.
You mean just play more games, play more aggressively, play more seriously?
Harder.
No, I mean play Steel Phalanx the way it was meant to be played, which is crush your opponents, and that's how you have peace in this world, when they're dead.
All right. Rob?
Yeah, I guess to drive the women and children in front of you and hear the lamentations and crying of the children and women, or however that goes. I'm a little drunk right now.
Shocker, everybody. Shocker.
Wow.
So the advice I would give my younger self would be to just stick to one army for a little while. I mean, I get distracted by the shiny, so I think that is really distracting in this game because it takes some time to figure out how things function, and I think you really need to force yourself to kind of play a little bit more.
And in a serious note, I think that also learning one rule to maximize the effectiveness of that rule is paramount. So, Ryan, I know you talked about TO, you talked about camo, you talked about how, in other episodes, how learning that one rule really helped you grow as a player. And I think that's also an important lesson to pass on to a younger self.
But I didn't need to pass that on to my younger self because my younger self did that.
Smart ass.
All right, so Clayton asked 2 questions. Well, actually,
no, he doesn't. This is like
multiple
6 questions.
Yeah, he has multiple questions. So his first one's a fluff.
Are you going to read all of this, or are you going to read one question at a time?
No, I'm going to do this. He asked a fluff question. We're not a fluff podcast. We don't know what the hell we're talking about in the history. So, yeah, wow. I think bad stuff happens everywhere. There you go. Answer to question 1 through 3, it looks like.
Okay.
All right, gameplay. How useful are dedicated ARO platforms in your strategies? I typically will build a list with at least one sniper rifle or HMG with the idea of it being an ARO piece. I don't always deploy them that way or use them that way. I did when I played Toha because I think Toha has probably the strongest ARO game because of just the amount of triads and burst 2 AROs you can have. But I found a lot of times I will take an HMG and actually hide it. I did it when I played my Morats a lot. I had 2 HMGs in a 5-man link of Rodox, and I may put one up, and the other one I would hide, and then I would push and be vastly more aggressive. I also think it depends on what your line of fires are and what the missions are. If the missions is to go up and flick a switch, then I try to cover that switch so you can't just go up and do it turn 1. But I don't think I'm beginning to get the feel the way that I'm playing is that ARO may not be the what's the area that I'm going to be focusing on. I think I'm going to be a little more aggressive, and maybe even hiding a few things, so I can do some turn 1 killing.
Okay.
Anybody
Well
else got
done.
any thoughts on that?
I mean, I disagree with everything that you said. Whatever. Rob,
Honestly, I wasn't
figures.
paying attention.
wow. Thanks, Rob.
Why don't I even have guys on here? I should just do this myself.
You should. We'll call it the Ryan podcast. Okay. So dedicated arrow
Yeah.
platforms. I like arrow stuff a ton, and I build every list. Recently, everything I've been doing has been arrow first, aggression second, with the mind that I'm going to go second every game.
Yeah, but so you are coming in. You're playing it defensively, right? So my mindset is coming more aggressively. So I think that's the beauty of this game, right? Because both of those are valid.
No, mine is valid. Yours is not. I'm playing defense to make offense. You're just playing, listen, you're the Rams, okay? You're the Rams, with your little...
You're gonna
American
make a sports.
football for
You're gonna make a
people,
sports
yeah,
analogy
yeah.
that has gonna have no effect on me. So go right ahead.
Okay, never mind that.
Sports ball, sports ball, sports ball, sports ball, sports ball. We really
All right.
sports balled.
All right. So the second part of that is, can a list survive without an arrow threat in the first turn?
Yes.
I think so too.
I agree.
I-
I think you're going to be fighting from the back foot in your second turn.
I think it depends on the mission heavily here, right? So if the mission is flipping switches and stuff like that, and you don't have an ARO presence, and the guy can run up and flip all the switches, well, then all he's got to do is play defense and pick off bits and pieces of your army as you try to advance to take those things back. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem. My wife just walked in, everybody, and gave me a really funny smile look. You want to say hi, Laura?
Hi, Laura.
She does not want to say hi.
I don't blame her. I barely want to say hi, and I'm on the cast.
All right. And again, this has actually come up in a game that I played, which is where I kind of got the idea of that maybe I'm planning too much ARO in the way that I play, because I actually had to hide a bunch of stuff knowing what my opponent had and was going first. I was like, I can't put these up here because he's going to outrange me. He's going to outshoot me, and I'm going to lose a bunch of stuff before I get to go. So I hid things. Right, he had to advance forward. He had to come around and do some more attacking because I don't remember the mission we were currently playing, but it was.
Was that Zach?
No, this was months ago, but I think it was Andrew actually, and so I kind of held back a little bit more, and then it allowed me on my turn. After he burned through his orders, it allowed me to kind of push forward and then do some more picking pieces apart. And I think for me, that definitely was the smarter move. I also could not tell you how many times I've put a TR bot in an advantageous place for AROs and have them blasted turn 1.
Yeah, and I've actually put like Warcores and Flash Pulse bots in ARO spots because the Flash Pulse is a very effective ARO piece.
It is, and if they want to spend orders to get rid of the Warcore, it's like great, waste your resources.
Yeah, on that 3-point model.
Yep. All right, let's move on. So Michael wants to know which one of you spends the most time in the Bakunin brothels. Michael, much like Vegas, what happens in Bakunin stays in Bakunin.
Thank you.
Meow.
But it would definitely be Rob.
Oh god, totally.
Oh yeah.
All right, serious question time. What is your favorite unit profile to play? Fun, lore, model, rule of cool, any of that? Randy?
Achilles.
Rob?
I'm gonna have to go with Sofatech.
Because Zach hates it.
Exactly, but it is so versatile. Engineer, doctor, Ud bots, does so much, and Zach hates it.
I'm gonna go with the Zeodrons. The model I just really, really like. I mean, it was one of the reasons why I picked up Onyx. It's one of the rules I currently have on all the Onyx lists I'm playing is one. I typically start with one in the list. Although I did build a list that used no Zeodrons and an Overdrawn, but I figured that's close enough. All right, so second question is, what profile unit do you find the most useful? I think any doctor engineer is handy to have.
Yeah, Becky.
Oh, I got to go with Van Zant because getting nasty in your backfield, that is just so dirty and so useful.
Yeah, I do like AD combat troops. I think they have a lot of use there. All right, so what upcoming unit profile are you most looking forward to putting on the table and why? I'm going to assume by upcoming he means ones that aren't released. And by that, I'm going to say I have no idea because they're not released.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to whatever my next army is I'm playing. Put that on the field.
Oh, that sounds good.
That's hot.
I also am looking forward to the Invincible Army. I've always liked the idea behind that army, I do think it will be. I think it will function much like military orders, where you're going to be pressing hard to get more than a limited insertion order list. All right,
And-
go ahead, Randy.
No, I was going to say next question.
All right, so the next one I pointed out is not a question, but John Withune wants everyone to explore the musical legend of Malcolm McLaurin, the hip hop era, not the punk era. So Rob and I have made notes of that. We will be jamming out to that at the office at some point.
Like
Okay.
tomorrow.
I want to answer my own question. Don't tell me what to do, buddy. You're not the boss of me.
I think that's more of a
Actually-
statement, but okay.
Actually, have you met John Withune? Because he probably is the boss of you.
He's not the giant boss of me. And he cannot tell me what to listen to. As a matter of fact, now I'm not going to do that. I'm going to listen to some other Malcolm guy. Take
Malcolm
the middle?
X.
Take
I was
that,
gonna
John.
say-
Take that, John.
He is the stroller king of Minneapolis, though. That is a true statement.
He's the
All
one.
right, the Stroller King.
That's good. That's good to know. I will. You know what? I will compromise with you, John. I will look up strollers now.
His wife though is a captain. She does have a yacht of her own.
Ooh, Summer Imp and 3D Minis.
literally-
$39.99 at Target.
Literally everybody in his local community is laughing their ass off at that joke. By the way,
Yep.
for the rest of you, you're just gonna have to find John Withune and ask him about it. All right, Chris Douglas wants to know how many dirty Randys does it take to change a light bulb, and Grant Fetter answered. He said 2. Grant, that is incorrect.
That is
Dirty
incorrect.
Yeah, Dirty Randy does not know how to change a light bulb.
That's right. You know nothing, Jon Snow. I mean, Grant Federer. You know
Yeah,
nothing.
you do not want Dirty Randy in the light.
You do not want me because then you
Oh,
can see the
God.
dirt and the dirty. It's not just the body either, buddy. It's the mind.
Mind, body, and soul.
All right, next question. Michael, what's the next sectorial to get axed? Remember, they didn't get axed. They're still
Completely
active.
viable for ITX.
Max.
Okay, first of all,
There.
that's not what he's asking. You guys read the questions wrong. It's what's the next sectorial to get axed, like as in the body spray. And I think the next one to get, axed so that the ladies like it is definitely going to be Steel Phalanx because Achilles and Brad Pitt.
It's phalanx
There we
and it's
No,
steel.
no.
Mhm.
Seriously, Achilles does not need to get axed to get the body. It's gonna have to be like something. Ooh, it's gonna have to be something like the Morats. Girls don't really like big hairy guys, so they would need the axe.
No, that would be Bic then. We would need to shave them. See, I'm telling you guys.
Put those mofos in a lumberjack outfit, man. Chicks dig that.
Chicks dig it.
Some
right.
plaid and an axe. Yeah, it's all good.
So the next question is from Anthony Little. Where have you been? But he didn't do it as a question. He
There's
put
no H
exclamation
in there.
mark.
I think it's Antone Little.
Oh, and no, it's Antony. Isn't it like Antony?
I don't know.
Antony.
Let's see how many times. Let's see how different ways we can butcher his name.
All right,
It's probably
Mr.
pronounced Beth.
Mr. Little. But see, he doesn't because so a question would be like, "Where have you been?" But that's not what he says. It's "Where have you been?" Like you're our parent and you're scolding us. Like it's not your business where we've been. We've been around, okay? We've been around.
And we actually covered that at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, geez, if you'd have listened to the beginning, you wouldn't have asked the question.
All right.
Wow.
And from our favorite Panamanian,
Panamanian?
Panamanian,
He's a Panamaniac.
Danger Rose. Since it's the subject of the week, look, see, now he wants to know which ones will get axed, not axed body spray.
Okay, well, see the question above, buddy. I mean, I would say
He's not asking the same question. He's asking a different question because this is axe lower case, not capital
Oh,
A.
that's true. Okay, well, the one I think will get axed next is whatever faction you play. Whatever one you love, that's the one that's getting axed next.
I think it's going to be OSS.
Shut
You
the
mean the
fuck
one
up.
that they just came out with?
Yep.
I know this is radio, but if you could only see my Olympic qualifying eye rolls right now, you would all be impressed.
All right, Russ. So his question is how to find a place to play a game while working third shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Oh God, graveyards.
Well, see, here's my
Okay.
thing is I don't think that doesn't seem like that would be a problem, right? Can you go in after work or before work? Because I would think, for instance, us here, if he goes and plays at 7 o'clock in the evening at the local store and then goes off to work, I think you'd be able to do that. I mean, you're gonna have to give some time on what your sleep habit is, but 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. doesn't seem like it'd be hard to find games.
I mean, Rob just wants to know where you work so he can tip you, buddy. Rob likes
Jesus.
the night workers.
I'm into that shift work.
Yeah, you are.
Oh yeah, he likes a good shift.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Okay, so JP Messenberg. What's a good way to jump back in after a lapse in playtime? Well, what I did when I was a child and had a lapse in playtime, I just right back into the old pit of balls, man. You do it, and it's just it's refreshing.
Just
Yeah,
jump in.
Yeah, I think try to find a local store that actually has a community and just find out what day they're showing up and just show up. Just play some games, just roll some dice.
Yeah, and you know, and just win, baby, just win.
I don't think that's another sports ball reference that is applicable here, but it is kind of applicable, so I'm kind of curious.
Okay. Well, and you know, the great thing is when we were doing this test, I started answering people's questions. Klaus Ostrom writes, What is my favorite color? And this is a very simple answer, Klaus. And I wrote it, so I'm going to read what I wrote so you understand. But it's your favorite color is blue. It's the
Blue.
color of my eyes. And I know that because when you stared longingly into my profile picture, you know you like it. That's okay, Klaus. So it's blue.
I actually think it's beige.
Taupe.
Taupe. It's fuchsia.
It's fuchsia.
All right, Cody, do you even Toha?
Nope. Never. Ever. I might. Maybe.
Ryan has been
Soon.
Toha curious in the past.
I was Toha for a whole year.
He was Toha before it was cool.
I don't know about that.
It was never cool.
Just gotta shake it off, baby.
Well, that is the end of the question. And
Yeah,
my jelly
that's-
beans just got the lid back on them.
What?
Well, while we were answering questions, I was having a jelly bean for each question.
Oh, because I was seriously confused by the whole jelly
Yeah.
bean thing.
And every stupid question, I had a handful, so I should get the diabetes very soon.
No, if anybody in this group is getting the diabetes, it's gonna be me.
Oh,
You have-
yeah.
You have no idea. that
No,
you
I have.
should-
I've heard stories. I have an idea.
Yeah, the number of ice creams that Ryan will eat in a single day, impractical.
To be fair, I typically
Inconceivable.
wait till after lunch and then I have at least one. And yes, we do have a fridge with a freezer at work that our executive director keeps stocked with ice cream for me and my team, but mostly for me.
That's good quality H2O.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's our questions. That's the crux of what we were gonna talk about. Kind of breaking the rust off. Our goal is to try to now meet and record every other Tuesday. So hopefully you will see us more. My wife just popped back in here and is giving me the look like I need to get off because she needs something. And,
That's what she said.
Oh my God, she's on the podcast. I heard her.
oh, you heard her?
I
Say
heard
Yep,
something again.
heard
I
Laura.
heard her. I heard her.
She said what?
And
She
there we
actually is
have-
yelling at me because I have not put my daughter to bed yet.
Yeah,
We
she's
have
using
a
her
Laura.
teacher voice.
I'm making fun of you for giving your daughter.
Did you guys hear that?
Yes,
Oh
I did.
yeah.
In her natural state, the Laura stalks her prey.
No, she doesn't need to stalk. She
knows where to find you.
yeah, she doesn't need to sneak up on me.
Yeah, she just snaps her fingers and
Yeah. My wife already came in. My wife already came in my office and was like, "Bed?" I'm like, "Yeah."
You know whose mom likes bed.
Tiffany's.
Tiffany's. Oh.
Oh.
All right, so let's wrap this up.
All right, Rob, why don't you give us the closing outro hullabaloo and where we can be reached?
All right. So if you want to reach us, always reach out on the Facebook page, Personal Flash Paper, on the Twitter at Flashpaper News, and email personalflashpaperinfinity@gmail.com. Comments on the iTunes are always welcome.
Yes.
All right, thanks for being here, guys. It was great to get around and kind of kick the dust off and do this again. Thanks for everybody for downloading and listening to us. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free. As you can tell, the three of us do not take ourselves seriously. So, but we do like to have conversations and help grow this fun little hobby we have.
Yep. And for the Personal Flash Paper Hobby Streak contest, I'll be posting the winners online, random.org, and I'll just generate based on your streak day numbers, and I will be assembling and working on a NA2 army based on the poll because you guys matter.
Oh, what NA2 army are you going to play?
All of them.
Don't you lie to them, Rob. They don't matter to anybody.
They
I
matter
actu-
to me, Randy.
I actually do have an assembled Akari force because it was humorous to me and it has models that I thought were cool. So I do have that sitting here assembled, ready to get some cleaning and some paint.
Yep.
All right, so I guess I will see you guys later.
Keep saving them babies, Randy.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm stopping now, and we'll check you later.
Bye.
Laters.